Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
Glad to be back.
So, just for some quick context, this deep dive is a SpeakDuo lesson tailored for advanced English learners. You can visit SpeakDuo.com to, meet new people worldwide practicing English on video calls to become more confident.
That's a great tool.
It really is. Anyway, let's jump straight into the idioms.
Yeah, let's look at workplace idioms first. Starting with the phrase cut and dried.
That's like an alternative to saying something is clear-cut, right?
Similar, but clear-cut just means obvious. Cut and dried means it's strictly finalized with absolutely no room for debate.
Oh, got it. Like strict internal evaluation guidelines.
Exactly. Those are cut and dried. But what if you need to, say, level with your manager about something?
Wait, doesn't that just mean telling the truth?
Well, telling the truth is a pretty general action. Leveling with someone implies removing hierarchy for a vulnerable admission.
Ah, like admitting software audio latency bugs to a boss.
Precisely. You're getting on their level. Now, ideally, that honesty leads to a square deal.
Right. Which isn't just a good deal for me, it's totally equitable to both sides, right?
Yeah, a good deal benefits you, but a square deal benefits everyone, like finalizing freelance recruitment parameters so everyone wins.
Okay, but what if they put the heat on you instead?
Oh, that's entirely different from just encouraging. Encouraging is positive motivation.
So putting the heat on is aggressive.
Very. It's coercive and stressful. Think of management forcing a strict summer deadline on product development.
Yikes. Okay, moving to personal traits. What does cut out for mean?
So being capable of something just implies a learned skill. But being cut out for it implies an innate natural talent.
Oh, wow. Like being naturally suited for advanced translation tracks in an IELTS Part 2 response.
Spot on. Now, even talented people can be down on their luck.
That's just having a bad day, right?
Yeah, actually, no. A bad day is temporary. Being down on your luck is a prolonged financial or life slump.
Oh, like a remote consulting business abruptly closing?
Right. That would definitely do it. And sometimes, when people are stressed, they act bold as brass.
I love that phrase. I assume that means brave.
Well, brave is heroic. Bold as brass is shamelessly confident, like bordering on disrespectful.
Like walking uninvited into a private executive board session?
Exactly. And lastly, a team dynamics phrase, go Dutch.
Oh, like taking turns paying?
Not quite. Taking turns relies on future reciprocity. Going Dutch means settling the exact share immediately.
Which is perfect for dining out with cross-functional corporate teams.
You got it. Now let's jump into the SpeakDuo quiz to test these out.
Okay, question 1. Which sentence uses the idiomatic phrase cut and dried correctly based on context? Option A. The agricultural field workers gathered the freshly cut and dried organic alfalfa crop. Option B. The deeply frustrated young retail clerk aggressively managed to completely drop a white slice. Option C. The internal evaluation guidelines are entirely cut and dried, leaving no room for operational ambiguity. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option C. Cut and dried means settled and unambiguous, just like our example about the strict internal evaluation guidelines.
Question 2. Select the context where the phrase level with is most appropriately used. Option A, I need to level with you about the audio latency bugs in our latest platform software version. Option B, the structural construction workers checked if the building floor tiles were perfectly level with templates. Option C, the incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly buy some large systems. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
Definitely option A. To level with someone means speaking honestly without hierarchy, like admitting those software audio latency bugs to a boss.
Spot on. Question 3. In which situation does someone accurately utilize the advanced phrase cut out for figuratively? Option A. The creative graphic designer spent all morning working to cut out for paper presentation boards. Option B. She is naturally cut out for advanced translation tracks because her linguistic analysis skills are exceptional. Option C. The completely terrified young wilderness traveler unexpectedly noticed an exceptionally massive, heavy wood chest. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The answer is option B. Cut out for means naturally suited, exactly like talking about advanced translation tracks in an IELTS response.
Question 4. Which response best demonstrates the advanced phrase put the heat on figuratively? Option A. Management decided to put the heat on the product development team to meet the strict summer deadline. Option B. The commercial facility maintenance technician went downstairs to physically put the heat on maximum systems. Option C, the incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly catch that white blanket. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
Gotta be option A. Put the heat on means aggressively applying pressure, like management forcing a strict summer deadline.
Okay, halfway there. Question 5. How would a professional accurately use the phrase a square deal figuratively? Option A. The geometry research professor compiled a technical diagram featuring a large matching square deal alignment. Option B. The completely confused amateur theater group unexpectedly decided to proudly paint a clean wheel. Option C. We finalized the freelance recruitment parameters to ensure both parties receive a completely square deal. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
It's option C. A square deal is a completely fair arrangement, just like when finalizing freelance recruitment parameters.
Question 6. Which scenario perfectly illustrates the meaning of the phrase down on your luck contextually? Option A. The local casino gambling operator explicitly noticed her physical token chip drop down on your luck tray. Option B. After his remote consulting business closed abruptly, he was down on his luck financially for months. Option C. The incredibly clumsy hotel maintenance worker accidentally managed to completely drop that red buck. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
That's option B. Down on your luck implies a prolonged slump, like your remote consulting business closing abruptly.
Question 7. Which sentence accurately utilizes the advanced phrase bold as brass figuratively? Option A. He walked straight into the private executive board session, bold as brass, without any scheduled appointment. Option B. The metallic statue restoration specialists explicitly polished those exterior fixtures to look bold as brass. Option C. The deeply confused young kitchen assistant accidentally managed to quickly slice a fresh bunch of grass. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
Easy. Option A. Bold as brass is shamelessly confident, like walking uninvited into a private executive board session.
Last one, question 8. Which of the following statements correctly uses go Dutch figuratively? Option A, the International Travel Translation Agency scheduled their summer seminar tracks to go Dutch territories. Option B, when dining out with cross-functional corporate teams, it is much simpler if everyone agrees to go Dutch. Option C, the completely confused amateur artist unexpectedly managed to beautifully paint a giant yellow crutch. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
It is option B. To go Dutch means splitting evenly right away, which is perfect for dining out with cross-functional corporate teams.
Awesome job if you played along. You know, it's wild to think about how idioms are really just historical artifacts.
Oh, absolutely. They carry so much cultural baggage with them.
Yeah, I mean, think about bold as brass or going Dutch. They're just so culturally specific.
Right. The nuanced situations they describe are universal, but the phrasing is totally unique.
Exactly. So here's a thought for you to explore on your own. How does your native language express these highly specific, nuanced situations differently?
That's a great question to end on.